Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for chapter 2 part 2 history, socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. In this video we are going to discuss about the Russian Empire in 1914, economy and society, socialism in Russia, a turbulent time, the 1905 revolution, the First World War and the Russian Empire. So these are some of the topics which we are going to discuss in this video. So here we will start with the Russian Revolution. Now the socialists took over the government in Russia through the October Revolution of 1917. There was fall of monarchy in February 1917 and the events of October are normally called the Russian Revolution. Now how did this come about? What were the social and political conditions in Russia when the revolution occurred? To answer all these questions, we have to go through the Russia a few years before the revolution. Here you can see the picture of Tsar Nicholas II in White Hall of the Winter Palace, St. Petersburg in 1900. This is painted by Amos Lipkar. We'll discuss. So here we will discuss about the Russian Empire in 1914. So in 1914, Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia and its empire. It was beside the territory around Moscow. The Russian Empire included current-day Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, parts of Poland, Ukraine and Belarus. It is traced to the Pacific and comprised today's Central Asian states as well as Georgia, Armenia and Azerbaijan. So you can see the picture of Europe in 1914. Now the majority religion was Russian Orthodox Christianity that grown out of the Greek Orthodox Church. But the empire also included Catholics, Protestants, Muslims and Buddhists. Now at the beginning of 20th century, the vast majority of Russia's people were agriculturists. They were dependent on agriculture. Now about 85% of Russian Empire's population used to earn their living from agriculture. This is very high proportion. Now in France and Germany, the proportion was between 40% and 50%. But here you can see 85% of Russian Empire, they depend on the agriculture for their livelihood. Now in the empire, cultivators produced for market as well as for their own needs, and Russia was a major exporter of grain. Now industry was found in pockets. So prominent industrial areas were St. Petersburg and Moscow. Now craftsmen undertook much of the production, but large factories existed alongside craft workshops. So many factories were set up in 1890s. Russia's railway network was extended. The with this extension of the network of Russian railway, there was the foreign investment in industry also increased. Coal production doubled and iron and steel output quadrupled. Now by the 1900s, in some of the areas, factory workers and craftsmen were almost equal in numbers. So you can see with the extent in the network of Russian railways, there was increase in the forest investment in industries. Also, most of the industries were private property of industrialists, and government used to supervise the large factories so that they can ensure the minimum wages and limited hours of work. As we have already discussed, the people were working for long hours and in low wages. But these factory inspectors could not prevent rules being broken. Still, the rules were broken. In craft units and small workshops, the working day was sometimes 15 hours compared with 10 or 12 hours in factories. Accommodation varied from rooms to dormitories. Dormitories are basically the room where many of the beds are there. In one single room, many beds are there. So those are dormitories. Now workers were divided in social groups. Some had strong links with the villages from which they came, and others settled in cities permanently. They were divided by skill. A metal worker of St. Petersburg recalled metal workers considered themselves aristocrat among other workers. Their occupation demanded more training and skill. Women also made up 31% of the factory labor force by 1914, and they were paid less than men. It was actually between half and the 3/4 of a man's wage. The divisions among workers showed themselves in dress and manners too. Some workers formed associations to help members in times of unemployment or financial hardship, but very few of such associations were there. Despite of this division, workers did unite to strike work. That means to stop work when they disagreed with employers about dismissals or work conditions. Now these strikes took place frequently in textile industries during 1896 to 97 and in metal industry during 1902. Now peasants cultivated most of the land in countrysides, but nobility, the crown and the Orthodox Church owned large properties. Like workers, peasants too were divided. Like workers were divided, in the same way peasants were also divided. And they were also deeply religious. But in few cases they had no respect for the nobility. and nobles got their power and position through their services to the Tsar, not through the local popularity. Whatever services they were provided to Tsar, according to that, nobles got their power and position. So this was unlike France, where during the French Revolution in Brittany, peasants respected nobles and fought for them. But here, this was not the condition. In Russia, peasants wanted the land of the nobles to be given to them. And frequently they refused to pay rent and even murdered landlords. In 1902, this occurred on a large scale in South Russia, and in 1905, such incidents took place all over Russia. So you can see the Russian peasants were different from other European peasants in another way. They pooled their land together periodically and their commune divided it according to the needs of the individual families. Here in figure 5 you can see unemployed peasants in pre-war St. Petersburg, and many survived by eating at charitable kitchens and living in poor houses. In figure 6 you can see workers sleeping in bunkers in a dormitory in pre-revolutionary Russia. They slept in shifts and could not keep their families with them. So this was the condition of workers. Next topic is socialism in Russia. So all political parties were illegal in Russia before 1914. The Russian Social Democratic Workers' Party was founded in 1898 by socialists who respected Marx's ideas. But because of government policy, it had to operate as an illegal organization. It set up a newspaper, mobilized workers, and organized strikes. Now, some of the Russian socialists feel that the Russian peasants' custom of dividing land periodically made them natural socialists. So, peasants, not workers, would be the main force of the revolution, and Russia could become socialist more quickly than other countries. These socialists were active in the countryside through late 19th century, and they formed the Socialist Revolutionary Party in 1900. Now this party struggled for peasants' rights and demands that land belonging to the nobles to be transferred to the peasants. And Social Democrats disagreed with socialist revolutionaries about peasants. They didn't wanted to transfer the lands of nobles to the peasants. Now Lenin felt that peasants were not one united group. Some were poor and others were rich. Some worked as laborers. Others were capitalists who used to employ the workers. And as per this differentiation, they could not all be part of the socialist movement. Now the party was divided over the strategy of organization. Vladimir Lenin, who actually led the Bolshevik group, he thought that in a repressive society like Tsarist Russia, the party should be disciplined and should control the number and quality of its members. And other who were Mensheviks, they thought that the party should be open to all, like it was in Germany. So here also there was conflict. Now Russia was an autocracy unlike other European rulers, even at the beginning of 20th century, and Tsar was not subject to parliament. Now, liberals in Russia campaigned to end this state of affairs. These social democrats and social revolutionaries, they worked with peasants and workers during the revolution of 1905 to demand a constitution. And they were also supported in the emperor by nationalists and in Muslim dominated areas by Jadidis, who wanted modernized Islam to lead their societies. But the year 1904 was particularly bad for Russian workers as prices of essential goods rose quickly. The real wages declined by 20%. So it was bad for Russian workers. Now the membership of workers associations rose dramatically. Because of this, the members in the workers association rose. Now when there was 4 members of Assembly of Russian Workers, which was formed in 1904, were dismissed at the Putilov Iron Works, it was a call for industrial action. And over the next few days, over 110,000 workers in St. Petersburg went on strike. They demanded a reduction in working day to 8 hours, an increase in wages and improvement in working conditions. Our next topic is a turbulent time, the 1905 revolution. Now, when the procession of workers, which was led by Father Gapon, reached the Winter Palace, it was attacked by the police and the Cossacks. In this, over 100 workers were killed and about 300 wounded. This incident was known as Bloody Sunday. And this started a series of events that became known as the 1905 revolution. The strikes took place all over the country and university closed down when student bodies staked walkouts complaining about the lack of civil liberties. Also, the lawyers, doctors, engineers and other middle class workers established the Union of Unions and they demanded a constituent assembly. Now, during this 1905 revolution, Tsar allowed the creation of an elected consultative parliament or Duma. Now, during this revolution, there existed a large number of trade unions and factory committees which was made up of factory workers. After 1905, most committees and unions worked unofficially because they were declared illegal. Severe restriction was placed on political activities. Tsar dismissed the first Duma within 75 days and re-elected second Duma within 3 months. Also, he did not want any questioning of his authority or any reduction in his power. So, he changed the voting laws and packed the third Duma with conservative politicians. Now, liberals and revolutionaries were kept out of this. Activity for you. Why were there revolutionary disturbances in Russia in 1905? What were the demands of revolutionaries? Do this activity. Now we have the topic the First World War and the Russian Empire. So in 1914, war broke out between two European alliances, which is Germany, Austria and Turkey, and France, Britain and Russia, which was literally later Italy and Romania. Now each country had a global empire and the war was fought outside Europe as well as in the Europe. Now this was the First World War. In Russia, the war was initially popular and people rallied around Tsar Nicholas II. Now the war continued, but Tsar refused to consult the main parties in the Duma. Anti-German sentiments ran high. Now it can be seen in the renaming of Saint Petersburg. So Saint Petersburg was renamed by a German name. It was Petrograd. The Tsarina Alexander's German origins and poor advisors, especially a monk who was called Rasputin, made the autocracy unpopular. So the First World War on the Eastern Front differed from that on the Western Front. In the West, armies fought from trenches stretched along eastern France, and in the East, armies moved a good deal and fought battle, leaving large casualties. Now, in this, Russia's army lost badly in Germany and Austria between 1914 and 1916, and there were over 7 million casualties in by 1917. Now, the Russian army destroyed crops and buildings to prevent the enemy from being able to leave of the land. The destruction of crops and buildings led over 3 million refugees in Russia. And the situation discredited the government and the Tsar. Now, soldiers did not wish to fight such a war. This war also had severe impact on industry. Russia's own industries were few in number and the country was cut off from other suppliers of industrial goods by German control of the Baltic Sea. Germans were having the control on Baltic Sea, so the suppliers of the industrial goods were cut off. Now, industrial equipment disintegrated more rapidly in Russia than elsewhere in Europe. By 1960, railway lines began to break down. Now, able-bodied men, they were called up for the war, and this resulted in the labor shortages and small workshops producing essential were shut down because the people who were able, they were going up for the war. Now, large supplies of grain were sent to feed the army during the war. For the people in cities, bread and flour became scarce. And by the winter of 1916, riots at break shops were common. You can see a picture of Russian soldiers during the First World War. Here we have an activity for you. The year is 1916. You are a general in the Tsar's army on the Eastern Front. You are writing a report for the government in Moscow. In your report, suggest what you think the government should do to improve the situation. So this is an activity which you need to do. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.